Hello? Hello, YouTube. I want to talk to you guys about the Bible and what it says about narcissism. I feel that a lot of Christians are very unsure about how to deal with narcissists when it comes to God, when in fact the Bible is full of stories and encounters and instructions of how to deal with narcissists, how to recognize them, how they operate, and all their little deceitful schemes. Once you become aware of the fact how much the Bible in fact talks about this problem, especially for the end times that we live in. This is found in the book of Revelation and lots of other books, where the Bible talks about a time where people are just going to be, they will become evil by the day. It says that evil men shall wax worse and worse in these last days before Jesus's return. And I'm not saying that, Jesus is, coming tomorrow or coming today or but we see the signs. We see how people have become seriously depraved. I mean, look at the divorce rates. It's by 60%, um, and it's only going to get worse. So, if you're a Christian, you should really appreciate that your Father in heaven has inspired this book to be written. And the Bible very much encourages you to read it, to know it, to study it, so that you are well prepared when the devil comes to destroy you. The thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. This is Jesus talking, okay? This is Jesus explaining Satan's ministers. And in fact, behind all this is Satan himself, because all his ministers and these narcissists and children of the devil are doing the bidding of Satan. They are doing what Satan wants them to do in order to destroy people, to kill people. And if you should be interested, like me, in true crime stories, you are going to see a lot of hints that, in fact, these murders in families where a spouse kills his spouse or annihilates the whole family, you can be pretty sure that this case is, dealing with a narcissist. So if you have gotten out of a relationship like this, you shouldn't be sad. You should not at all regret that it's over, because I'm telling you, it could have ended in your death. I don't want to scare anybody, but these people are just people who have no conscience. They have no feelings like you and I. And they're just vile, they're evil. And when you know the Bible, you will learn how um how God sees narcissists, and that there's in fact no need for you to take any revenge in the sense of do not make the mistake and try to revenge yourself for all the things that the narc has done to you. I mean, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't file reports. Do everything in the realm of legal action that is allowed, that is given, by your country, because as Christians we are supposed to, you know, respect the law and follow the law in the country that we live in. So everything you can do against a narcissist, as a protection for yourself, you should really take these chances and really take it seriously, because these people, um, if you think, oh, my narc, he's not dangerous, well, think again. Think again. It could very fast turn into a direction that you never thought it could go. I've been with narcissists all my life. And I was thinking, okay, all these things, they were evil that happened to me. But I kind of always thought maybe it was also my fault in some way. Why did I attract these people? So I educated myself. I was reading books to not attract those people, but narcissism was not talked about back then. I'm 51, so I have a long history behind me. And I don't think that I'm ever going to be in a relationship again. It's not on my list of goals for the future. But I had a very, tumultuous private life, and especially before I got saved in 2012. I lived like everybody else. I didn't have no moral compass in the sense, it was very darkened. Let's put it this way. I had a sense of, I thought I believe in God, and I have a cult history behind me, which I'm going to be talking about also, because cults and narcissism, huge topic, right? I mean, the same schemes and the same lies, the same cycles of abuse. You are going to be astonished if you're not familiar with this topic. You are going to be astonished how close, the story of a victim can be to what they experience in a cult, compared to a close relationship with a narcissist. Um, so back then, I was not saved. I got saved in 2012. And at that time, I was already divorced twice. So I read all these books. I knew that something, I mean, as an empath, this is, you look inside of yourself, right? You try to find the answers. You try to find the part that you played in all of this. Why did you even start a relationship with a person like this? Or what was it in your past that could have attracted people who are just emotionally different? They are not available. They are, cheating, lying, doing all kinds of stuff, up until the point they are abusing you. I mean, all of them were violent at some point of the relationship. And I thought that I had learned something, as time went on. And from one relationship to another, I thought that I had learned something from it. But narcissists and psychopaths, they come in so many different forms and shapes that I can only encourage you to never stop educating yourself, and to be very, very aware of all the signs that you could, read, for you to make an earlier escape from a potential relationship, even if you're in it. I mean, it's better to waste 1 year than 7 or 10 or 20 years in such a marriage, which a lot of women they do, or men do. And the third husband now that I'm separated from, he turned out to be so different. He was so different. Like, I didn't see it coming. All what was happening in that relationship, and how everything just had gone more and more downhill. I didn't even notice, because I thought, in a way, well, that's just normal. I mean, don't all relationships just, turn into something deeper, and we, let out stress, or we, you know, I mean, the love is just, it turns into another level. It's a deeper type of level that at least for me, it was like this. I thought that my love was getting deeper and deeper, as time went on. Even with all the problems, I was still deluded to think that the more time we spent together and the more memories we had, and millions of thousands of hours of conversations, deep conversations, and all this love and everything, I felt it had become deeper. Only in the end came the huge shock for me that only in the end, in the final moments of that relationship, I had to realize that my husband, my soon to be ex husband, is a covert narcissist. Maybe, maybe. My therapist said he's not so covert after all, but his game was a total another level. It was covert. It was this nice guy, this pro-feminist guy. You know, only the facts helped me to realize, man, all these years that I felt like I was struggling in life. I was paying all these bills. I was running to jobs that I hated just to pay the bills. And my wonderful soulmate husband, he didn't seem to give a crap about the bills and about, improving anything. And I gotta say, I'm not usually a woman that is going for a younger partner, but this one was younger than me, a lot younger. And it was really, I mean, I didn't feel no problem with that, and it was never a topic in our relationship. So for me, everything felt so real, so deep, and this deep soul connection that we had. And he also faked that he's a Christian. Um, I'm gonna tell you later maybe some bits and pieces of this relationship because it's really interesting. If you are struggling with a guy like this, maybe you can see yourself in this and recognize it for what it is and spare yourself years and years of wondering and staying and, giving him the benefit of a doubt, like I did for so many years, like so many of us did. Now, so let's go back to the topic. So the devil and his ministers, and not included, because they are the ministers of Satan, they come to steal, to kill, and to destroy. So a lot of murdered victims of narcissists, when you go into true crime, we all have heard about the Chris Watts case, right? And Shanann Watts. Um, Chris Watts annihilated his whole family. And this case, in fact, woke me up, really woke me up to the fact that, hey, if this guy could do such a thing, what about my husband? He always kind of comes across like this soft, perfect husband. And I always thought of myself, I'm the dominant one. I'm a woman that has learned to stand up for herself, when in fact, all that time I was just being a slave without me even noticing it. I was paying the bills, like I said. I was managing everything. Like I could have needed a lot of help, a shoulder, somebody who is able to be my partner. But this guy was just totally ambitionless. He went into drug addiction more and more and dragged me down with him into this drug hole where I couldn't get out for years, right? So, and and then you just you I was just thinking, well, there's problems in every marriage, and after all, we're married in the Lord. So this is the one. Finally, after I got saved, I got to know him. I got saved in 2012, and I got to know him in right before New Year's Eve in 2013. So, 2013 facing 2014. And everything went so fast, and everything was so perfect. Everything was so beautiful. And there were huge red flags, so many. So if you feel like you are stupid, if you hear my story and my life story, I mean, with all these experiences, with all these different types, and especially the last one, the covert one, the red flags were just enormous. And you know, I couldn't read the signs. I just couldn't. I knew nothing about narcissism, and in fact, just knowing about narcissism doesn't prevent you from doing stupid things, because the way they do it is they traumatize you very early on. They meet all the weak points that you have, all your insecurities, and they come across as being this wonderful person that, they seem to be like you. They seem to think like you. Finally, there was a guy who was had a uh, huge standard when it came to faithfulness, and a guy who could really control his eyes when it comes to even just looking at other females. And he made me feel so safe and secure, but it was all fake. I learned, during all these years with him, that everything about this person was fake. And the realization of this was soul crushing. It was such a huge shock for me that I was just out of myself for days. I was in a state of shock, and I needed a lot of um, further education on the topic. And I watched a ton of videos and all these things that once you go no contact, once you really go no contact, and this person cannot reach you anymore with all their bullshit and their lies, and these stories that they make up and that always work with you because you are emotionally involved and they are not. They were never emotionally involved, but you were. So you are trauma bonded so much that you can't find a way out. You become so desperate, and you think you can't live without this person, right? Um, it was really hard. I mean, uncovering a covert narcissist is really, really the hardest thing. And they are the most dangerous ones because, like I said, you won't see it. They are so good at um, acting like they are so interested in you. Later, you will realize that they have no interest in you whatsoever. They don't even like you, you know? Mine used to brag all the time. And funny how I also felt exactly like this. Exactly. I mean, I could totally relate to what he told me. He always used to say, you know, um, the relationship or the marriage that we have, other people can only envy. They can only dream of a relationship like this. Nobody has this. And what boggles my mind is that I really thought, um, yeah, this is how it is because such a deep connection, and we're both Christians, and um, I mean, I was on fire for the Lord once. I had YouTube channels exposing cults, exposing false teachings on YouTube, never in front of the camera, but always editing or translating videos on the subject, because I was deceived once. And, when Satan can't destroy you, when you are strong in the Lord and you want to spread the gospel and you want to expose evil, Satan wants to destroy you. He wants to stop you. So if he can't do it, he is going to send you a narcissist, one that is going to make you trust him completely, open up completely, and you will be so focused on this narcissist and this relationship that you will not even notice how many years have gone by with you being unfruitful, you being ineffective in the Lord, and you just wasting your time on earth that is given to you. You are wasting your talents that the Lord has given to you. As Christians, we are here to spread the gospel, the good news. The good news is that Jesus Christ died for the sins of all humanity, and whoever believes on him solely, trusts fully, solely on what he did on the cross, is saved. And the gospel is that Jesus Christ came to pay for all of our sins, past, present, and future, and that he was buried and that he rose again the third day. That's it. If you believe this, you are a child of God. Now, a narcissist often comes across as a religious person, as somebody who is fearing God. Um, they do this on purpose, I would say. They do this because it is such an opening door to somebody who is, in fact, a child of God, or at least a person who wants to do right, who has moral standards and knows, there's right and there's wrong, and I want to do what's right. I even atheists. I mean, there's wonderful people who are atheists. They're just deceived by this, false doctrine of the devil and this religion, basically. But no matter what faith a person has, or no faith at all, they can be a better human being than somebody who's just thinking they are Christians when in fact they are not. So a narcissist is going to use this as an opening door to your heart. You know this feeling, right? You know this feeling if you've ever been on Facebook and somebody sends you a friend request, and not only do they love rock music like you, but also they seem to have, faith in the Lord. Like, this is a brother or a sister, and it's immediately like there's a connection, there's something, that we can relate to, and there's this love that we feel for fellow believers, right? I mean, at least it's, if you're a Christian, you've experienced the love of God, how he saved you, wretched sinner, and you love your fellow believers. So this is a huge gate how the narcissist or the devil comes into play here. And we all know, I mean, Satan transforms himself into an angel of light, and so do his ministers. This is Bible. This is in the Bible. So they pretend to be Christians, and we are being fooled by it. And we think that all these things that they're doing with us, all the financial abuse and the not providing enough, or not at all, which in fact the Bible says that they are worse than an infidel, worse than an unbeliever. Somebody who doesn't provide for his own household is worse than an unbeliever, according to the Bible. Um, so I was trying to remind him of these things, but he just didn't seem to, you know, he just didn't seem to care much. He only acted for years and years, as long as his residency here in Germany was not secure, in his mind. Um, he was still trying to act, like he is a believer. Later, all this changed. Later, he made very horrific comments. I mean, he would ask me questions that, in fact, every Christian had already figured out, he was asking really stupid questions. Like he was making himself, and we are going to deal with this when we go to the story of Judas Iscariot. You are going to see the parallels there. I'm going to talk to you about the things that my narc told me, and how in the aftermath of all of this, and after the trauma bond lifted, um, which takes some time, for you to detox all the bullshit that, you have been deceived by all these years. It needs some time, and many things are going to come to the surface that you were not aware of. A lot of stuff that the narcissist used to say is just going to pop up in your mind, or you are going to listen to somebody on YouTube, and all of a sudden, or you're going to read a comment in a Facebook help group for victims, and all of a sudden, the situation is going to pop up in your mind, and you will um, look back and realize, yeah, this happened to me also. This is it. And reading the Bible is also going to bring a lot of stuff to the surface that a narcissist did and said, where you can see that God really sees them as enemies. They are headed for hell. It's the blunt and plain truth. They are headed for hell. And this is, in fact, the justice that when the Bible says, "Vengeance is mine," saith the Lord. Well, ultimately, this is it. This is it. They might wind up in jail for their crimes and all this. They have a criminal, they have a criminal nature also, oftentimes, or very hidden. But they only do not commit crimes because they fear being caught. If they were really, really sure that nobody would catch them, believe me, they have no problem to murder you, to murder even their kids, or to let them starve to death, to brutally discard of their pets or kill them. They have no empathy. And the only reason why they keep it together and do not commit these crimes, um, or stealing, or any other type of, crime, abuse, violence, they're only not doing it because they fear for their little lives. They don't want to wind up in jail and having to be locked up there for good and not be, deceiving people outside and enjoying their lives. That's the reason, the only reason why they don't do certain things. But if it was, their choice, and nobody would find them out, well, guess what? That's why you shouldn't wait. You should not hesitate. um, you should really take this seriously, that you are in danger. You are in danger on so many levels. The longer you stay with a narcissist, the longer your healing process might take, the more brain damage you are going to have. And yeah, it's a fact, most victims, if not all victims, we all suffer from PTSD or complex PTSD, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of work on self, and with experienced trauma therapists. And to just get back to a healthy self. So let's see. The thief cometh not but for to steal. Stealing happens in various forms. It can be outright stealing, that the narcissist is really stealing little things and you don't even notice it. A lot of victims didn't even notice that stuff was just gone. They would sell stuff. Now, stealing can also happen, like in my case, when you have this ambitionless child, man, child type of person in your life that you feel responsible for, in some way or another, because you are conditioned. You are a Christian, and that a divorce is off topic. We are both Christians. I mean, he didn't cheat on me, I didn't cheat on him, so there's no reason to get a divorce, right? But it's not true. It's really not true, because you are not married in the Lord if you are with a narcissist. And I hope I'm going to make this clear on this channel with time. I can't do it in one video, but it's true. According to the Bible, they are the children of the devil. And you are not bound to stay in this hellhole any longer. You have carte blanche to divorce this individual and to move on with your life, to even get remarried if you feel like getting remarried. But I would not suggest you would do this. Be very cautious and take your time with your healing process. You need to fully heal. You need to be fully content with you alone, and you need to love yourself on a whole another level that you've never loved yourself before. Because let's be honest, if we had loved ourselves to the point where we do not take all this crap, a narcissist wouldn't have no chance to fool us or to exploit us, because we would immediately say stop. Okay, this is boundaries. This is my boundaries. Okay, I have standards. You don't meet these standards, you're out. But as a Christian, when you think that you are in this marriage in the Lord, and maybe you are even churchgoers, which might be even more difficult. I'm not associated with any church, because I'm just so still traumatized of my cult experience and of churches in general, that I would never ever allow myself to be part of that again. I like to associate with other Christians. I like to fellowship with other Christians. I like to, have them around me as brothers and sisters. But this organized thing of religion is just wrong on so many levels. And I'm not saying, you know, it's always wrong, but most of the time it's wrong.